We'd love to hear from you, man.
I acknowledge that I'm standing on the land of Ghana people. I acknowledge there is spiritual connection to this land for thousands of years. I pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. This land was and always will be Ghana land. First of all, I want to thank you everyone, every single person who helped me from development of this ride until today. It's been a long, exhausting, nerve-wracking experience for me and the team. Julian, first of all, thank you very much. From day zero, thank you. We're true partners in crime. Danish, Claire, Adelaide, Astra, where is she? Behind the camera, I can see your hand. On the right, thank you very much for helping me from food, drink, flat tires, lift, everything, making me comfortable on the way. I had the best bed at night, so I was spoiled, thank you. Back home, Nagina, John, thank you very much. You took care of 2 daughters, my mom's appointment. You are working, taking care of the schools. Thank you very much. Without your help, I cannot do it. I could not do it. That was best. That is really just an idea. I miss you so much. The website, if you see, we have dozens of logos, beautiful logos. All logos represent organizations, communities, companies, individuals. Thank you very much for individual and group support. Thank you so much. For today, I want to say thank you very much for ARA, the volunteers, Hazara Sports Federation, Baba Mazari Foundation, Wali Yasser Foundation, Markazi Wali Yasser, ATSA, Ghana United Football Club, and Fidajan. Thank you for organizing this. I can see Aga behind there. From day one when I said, can we use this location, this event, this hall? You said, yes, thank you very much, Abajan. The manager of Ghana United Football Club and the big community leader and supporter, thank you so much. So today, we started this journey on the 29th, 31st of May, from Malene, Queensland. And we ended today on the 29th of June. I was counting on my fingers when I was riding today. Adelaide is the 25th city and town. We covered all the way from Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and South Australia. Today's event is the 46th event of this ride that we covered during these days. And 13 schools we talked, high school, primary schools, and thousands of people. What I can say is that this ride was named Ride for Education. The most important aspect of our life, refugees' life, because a lot of the parents who leave their country, that's the toughest decision to take. But the decision is for their future, the future of the next generation. And education for the next future is the most important thing in their mind. We are all here, the diaspora communities. We came from somewhere, mostly from Afghanistan. Mostly because of our kids for their education. We are so lucky. We are here in the country where we are free, we can get education. But not everyone is lucky as we are. So this ride was for the unlucky people, because education gives hope to the people. And this ride was ride of hope. And I can tell you, from Malini, maybe people don't know the name of that small town, hundreds of people got together to show their support for education, for hope, for refugees and for women in Afghanistan. All the way to Adelaide, I can see here. There is a lot of goodwill, there is a lot of support for hope and support for education. This ride was kind of a thread to connect those support and synergies right to here. 4 states, Australians are ready to support hope and education for refugees and for women in Afghanistan. I think the time, 4 years gone about Afghanistan if we talk. Nearly 4 years we lost Afghanistan. And in 4 years, in the name of illusion that we were told, we have new Taliban. Taliban is changed because America wanted to leave Afghanistan. We were tied in Afghanistan. Taliban is never changed. We raised our concerns when there was negotiation. Our concerns is proved to be right. Minorities and women, they are taking the brunt of the Taliban's regime. We see displacement, but we see the borders locked with iron fist. And America supporting Taliban, $40 million a week. Keep them strong, keep the people inside. We don't want refugees anymore from Afghanistan. At the cost of our Western civilization and values. And who are paying this price? The women of Afghanistan, the minorities of Afghanistan. I saw a lot of visitors going back to Afghanistan, many Western visitors, tourists on YouTube, saying Afghanistan is peaceful. That's rubbing salt on our wounds. We don't accept that. Yes, you have money and passport. You can go and visit Afghanistan's Bandamir. You have iPhone. You have channel, you can share those videos. I bet if you could go and talk with a girl in a school, visit a woman at her home, what's happening to them? No one has that courage to do that. Because I can tell you, a simple camera needs to be registered to the Taliban authorities. You have to give all your credentials, all your details, if you want to take photos and make videos. And how unintentionally those YouTubers become part of Taliban's propaganda team. We reject them. I went to Afghanistan last year. I smuggled my camera in. I was captured by the Taliban 3 times in Afghanistan. I took photos. I interviewed women. What I saw, my Afghanistan was very different from those videos. I saw underground schools in Kabul, west of Kabul in Dasht-e-Barchi. Thousands of girls each day take their life at risk, go to school. I salute them because their schools have been bombarded, targeted by suicide attackers, stopped by the Taliban on the way, and even killed on the way. It's not just I'm talking from emotions, we have evidence, we have reports. When I visited those classes, Natiqa was in grade 7 last year, the first year of her high school, and I visited grade 7 in Dasht-e-Barchi. I cried to them, I said, you're all Natiqa for me. What can I do for you? 3 asks, we need resources, we want our school and we want accreditation of our education. Nothing else. I said, I cannot promise anything. I will go back to Australia. I will tell your stories. I'm here today. I told these stories from Malene to Adelaide. We diaspora communities know about these stories. We need synergy. Why we came to the communities. Our governments let us down when they talked with the Taliban. We are tired of hearing statements after statements. It doesn't cure our wounds. 4 years, imagine your girls don't go to school. What happens to them? What happens to Natika? 4 years, no school. They will forget their lessons. They will become burden for their families. They will be married off at early age. They will give birth at early age. That's what Taliban want from Afghanistan women. This is not just education, this is saving life of millions of women in Afghanistan. We have to break that tribal ideology. That's not Islamic ideology, I tell you. It's tribal ideology. We have to resist, and women are ready to stand it for their rights. And my heroes, my champions, my leader are those girls. Dynamics have changed in Afghanistan. I received so many messages from women in Afghanistan. Many of them said, we thought men forgot us. International community forgot us. There is someone who is riding for us. I'm just a small, humble person. I wrote this right to be on the right side of the history. That's what we can do. And this right was not one person's right, all diaspora communities' right. We have seen the support in Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne, here in Adelaide. That's where diaspora communities live. Outpouring support, outpouring love. We ask for money. Money is the last thing we ask. We ask for love. We ask for your support. For support, because in this globalized world, even conflicts are becoming so sporadic, so frequent. We get tired to see the number of conflicts erupting every year, every time in the world. And we tend to forget the previous one. We invested in Afghanistan for 20 years. We gave hope to the women and minorities and the people of Afghanistan. We left them. Because America, what they said? These people don't want peace. We're going to leave. But I tell you, America had money for bombs, trillions of dollars. Our village never had a road. Our school were never built. It's under a tree. Boys and girls work 3 hours to go to their schools. We did whatever we could do as civilized, peace-loving people. We never fired a bomb, a rocket on the international forces. We are the people who was massacred, killed throughout the history. We thought that 20 years of democracy was the chance for us. We could study, we could live in peace, and that was all of Afghanistan's wish. Just before fall of Afghanistan, Isha Foundation did a research. More than 70% of the population of Afghanistan overwhelmingly supportive for the government. Taliban don't represent us. They were imposed, their regime, they don't represent us. And I think the only way to resist is to give education. That's the least thing we can do. That's the least thing and more sustainable thing. Education gives hope to people, particularly women. Boys can go to public schools, but I can tell you, significantly radicalized curriculum. Less time for mathematics, science, social sciences. More than half of the time is spent on religious education. But women's education, I think that's priority. That's why we did this ride and I'm here. And it's not just one ride. I think today's ride stops here, but the real struggle starts from today. It's a long journey. Rumi says, it's your way. Only your way. Only you walk on this way. People come and walk with you, but you have to walk on that way. We, the people of Afghanistan, have walked on this road for a long time, for decades. We are ready to walk for another big haul. We are ready for that. But I can confirm and say that we are not ready to forget our women in Afghanistan. We are not going to leave them alone. We will raise voice. We will support their schools. Even though it's not recognized, I can tell you, this banner represents hope. We started this school with $200 in Indonesia. It's now nearly 11 years we are running this school. Our tiny organization, we started here in 2015, now support $280,000 every year for refugees education in Indonesia. More than 5,000 students have completed their education or studying now. They have resettled to different countries or they are in Indonesia. Not just education. We save 10 years of limbo in their life. They become teacher. We have one teacher here. They become qualified teacher. One of the first teachers is here, my wife, Nagina. We have lawyers from those first teachers. Our students are engineers now. They're doctors now. We have 7,000 refugees living under International Organization for Migration Care. 12 years no education. Australia support that organization every year with millions of dollars. 17 refugees have committed suicide under their care. None under this community. We are proud of that. Last year, we celebrated the 10th anniversary, and this banner represents the 10th year of the creation. In 10 years, we found a pathway of accredited high school certification for refugees in Indonesia. Out of last year, 12 of them graduated from high school. 4 of them got scholarship in universities immediately, international universities. We learned lessons from here with $200. We're going to use it in Afghanistan. We have a pathway, we have a vision for the women of Afghanistan. Australian universities that we know, they're ready to provide scholarship for the women of Afghanistan. We are working on that. I just don't want to brag big back, but we take one step at a time. We don't set big goals or targets. We believe in what we are doing. We have stamina to run and walk on this road for a long years to come, maybe a decades. We will support education, no matter in Indonesia and Thailand or in Afghanistan. We are here. I joke with Julian, I said, this year I'm riding, next year I will be running. So, thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate this. And I stop talking now and let others talk. Thank you very much.